Good morning, Sault Ste. Marie and Algoma. Welcome to Special Report Morning Edition. I'd like to thank KC Securities for sponsoring us. Thank you very much, Daniel. Okay, interesting day in the news today. We have all kinds of fun stuff coming up.
Yeah, we do.
Speaking of fun stuff coming up, at 1 o'clock today, Dr. David Williams, who is our Chief Medical Officer of Health, will be at the Doug Ford press conference. Christine Elliott, the Deputy Premier, will be there with Doug Ford as well. So that could be interesting.
For sure.
He's the guy who has the final say on basically what opens and what closes.
So what does that mean? What do you think? What's going on?
Well, I think the spike in cases might see some restrictions. That's just my hunch.
Yeah, but you have all those numbers that you wanted to talk about.
We'll get to those later,
too,
but I mean, 5 days over 400, I think showed that we were going in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
So.
It's pretty foggy out there, but we're going to get to the weather in a bit. I know there's a fog advisory. What'd you do last night? Anything good?
Nothing.
Nothing good. Tonight is a big night for you, though.
My girlfriend created a great meal last night, though.
What'd you have?
Ham, potatoes, rice, cucumber, tomato salad. Yeah.
Can I have leftovers today for lunch? No.
We have leftovers, so I'm going tonight too.
Awesome. So tonight's your interview and about bathrooms and everything else.
Yes.
And
I talked toilets with an Algoma Public Health Inspector.
And I watched the show last night when I got home. I'm like, wow, that rant was exceptional yesterday from your interview.
Yes, about the
I
city.
might add.
Yes.
I just have to add that it was exceptional.
The city and their infinite wisdom of inviting people from across Canada to come here for tourism right now, because that's such a great idea.
Yeah, we'll save that. It's a little too early in the morning.
Yeah, you can see that repeated on Facebook video actually right now. It'll be on YouTube later today.
If you haven't seen it yet, go to it. Okay, we got some local news. So over on the East End, Trunk Road on Wellington Square Mall, the giant tiger's coming in, as we all know and anticipated and looking forward to. And there it is there. Excellent recording job from producer Mike. And so the one side of the mall, Chris, is Food Basics. The other side would be Giant Tiger. And they're taking away all the inside. I don't know if you've ever been in that mall.
I have been inside,
we'll use
but
air
I go
quotes.
to that Food Basics all the time because it's right near where we live.
You said that, and I have never been in there. And
I don't know what's
I think
in
I
the
forget
mall.
it's in there. Nothing's in there. I know that there is a tax place.
Abandoned.
There was an H&R Block, I do believe, that was in there. I'm not too sure what else, but it's been pretty ghost-like for a while. So, anyways, they're knocking it all down, and it's all gonna be like storefront or outside doors into the store, not inside. And we're looking forward to that. So the next phase of the construction has started.
Do we know when they're opening? Or
No,
what
it
the
just
plan
says
is?
that the stage is that it's open. That the next construction stage is there. There's fences up all around it, as you saw in the video. So exciting stuff. As soon as we get to go shopping, we can go somewhere new.
We'll let you
Sick
know.
and tired of Walmart,
Yeah.
so this is a good thing, right?
So, the lineups at Walmart, man, I went by there the other day,
it's
and I was just
brutal.
like,
It's so bad. Outside, inside. Well, like I said yesterday, I was waiting to go into the Dollarama by the Pee-wee, and I was like, outside it was getting drenched, and then I get inside, and there's only one person working, and like, did people have carts like this? I'm like, holy cow! It took me 28 minutes. 28 minutes to go in for a birthday card and a lollipop, so that was great. Anyway, the cities continue to reopen stuff. And so today, soccer fields are open, but not for soccer play, like not for the leagues, guys. So it's just soccer fields are open. Please remember, you can only have 5 or less in your party when you are on those soccer fields playing. Tennis courts are open.
so that's like half a soccer team.
Yeah.
Yeah, a goalie and 4
It
other
is.
players.
Yeah, you have 11 including the goalie. So there's tennis courts, the off-leash dog park, the bicycle, the jump track, the pump track. Have you ever seen that yet? It's really cool. It's really neat.
When that first came out, I actually met the guy who created it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
of course
because
you
I
did.
had a sports events company back then, and I actually looked at
right.
actually doing pump track events.
Yes, well, it's very popular here, and it's a really cool little space. So the disc golf course and the skateboard track are all open. So that's great. Now I just remind you that point to shame.
Actually, the one that's near us, the disc golf course there, I drove by there the other day, and somebody was playing.
Oh, there you go. Good. I didn't even know we had any near us, so that's good. But just want to remind you, though, the police are telling you to make sure you're staying within your parameters, social distance, because they are not going to be relaxed on this. If they see something that's not following the rules, a ticket will ensue. Anyways, do you want to go into what this fog alert means for everybody? What's going on, and what does the weekend look like?
For those of you that haven't noticed, there is going to be a fair amount of fog over the next little while. The temperatures are just dropping drastically. Yesterday, it got below
Yeah, it was pretty
11 degrees yesterday by the time, 6 or 7 o'clock at night happened.
Yeah.
And we're not looking much better. I mean, the high today is going to be 15. I know driving in on my car, it said 10.
Oh.
So we might get up at the 15 at the high end. On the low end, 5. So yeah, great. And then the weekend's not looking too hot. It's definitely not going to be the same as last weekend. So on Saturday, we're looking at a high of 11 with a low of 3. And Sunday, a high of 14 with a low of 3. So yeah, not exactly the summery weather that we've been having, I don't know, for only a few days. But I teased my girlfriend last night. I said, oh no, that was summer.
Yeah, did you enjoy it?
It's now winter again.
You know what's
we're going
so
back
funny?
Into it. It's the fall already.
I was trying to be cool and calm
It's
and
autumn.
collective there, but I was taking a sip of my coffee when you said a low of 2 or whatever. I'm like, ooh, and it kind of came up, so my eyes are watering now. Anyway,
yeah. So
thanks
I
for
told
making
my
my eyes
girlfriend
water.
that winter's coming because she's from Brazil and just doesn't know the exact
Oh, you're
times.
so mean.
I
That's
know.
not true. It's going to be warm for September.
Yeah, she's watching, so that got spoiled now.
Ignore him. We do
Yeah.
here too. But we won't ignore you. But we do need to come back after a brief commercial break. We have more news, some entertainment, some COVID updates. We'll be right back.
A message from the Government of Canada.
In your home, lighting is just as important as style.
With PowerView Motorization from Hunter Douglas, you can schedule your shades to light up the room. Create privacy, or both, automatically. No hands required.
So your shades will always be in the right place at the right time in style. And it's only from Hunter Douglas.
Recently, the Government of Ontario established a $100 million affordability fund to help Ontarians who don't qualify for low-income conservation programs ease the burden of their electricity bill. Whether you rent or own your home, as long as you pay your electric bill, you could qualify. There are 3 levels of support available. The first is a home energy kit with upgrades like smart power bars and LED light bulbs. The second includes Energy Star appliances that help keep things cool during the hot summer months. The third is for electrically heated homes so that your power bills don't break the bank during those long Canadian winters. Plus, all upgrades, including installation, are completely free of charge. Visit affordabilityfund.org or call 1-855-494-FUND to find out if you qualify.
Welcome back to Friday morning's edition. I am Colette Linden with Christopher Oldcorn. Thank you so much to Casey Security for your sponsorship. We're going to throw to Danny shortly for an update for this morning, but quickly I wanted to talk a few things locally. We had put out a story with regards to a sexual assault. There is an update to that. It did occur on the Batchewana First Nation, and they don't know who the person is. The Forensic Identification Services has assisted with the investigation, and a composite sketch of the suspect has been completed. You'll see it on your screen there. The investigation has since revealed that the female was alone when she was approached by an unknown male and assaulted in the early morning hours. So we just want to remind you to be careful. Don't speak with anyone you don't know. Anyways, so we saw the sketch there. We do have information on SiouxOnline.com, but it's very important we share that message with you. Also, on our website this morning, we have what's called a City Releases Survey for a mountain bike trail development. It is a Survey Monkey survey. So please go onto the site and click through that. Basically, they're asking you to know what types of trails would you like? Where, I mean, there's a lot of beautiful areas around here where we can put we have trails already. So please take the time to go on there, and the city puts out a SurveyMonkey report like that. It's important that they get that feedback and data so we can move forward and make the community an even better place.
Yeah, the city's been looking at expanding the hub trail and stuff as well. They've talked about it at council meetings over the last few months too. So
Yeah.
it looks like they're trying to expand a lot more of the biking options in this
Oh,
town
that's
too.
awesome.
So
That's great. That's awesome. Okay, what about Facebook this morning? What do we got? Anybody saying hello or
yes,
tell Chris
good
to stop
morning
talking,
to
stuff like that, or
Tammy,
what?
Lynn, Daniel, and Cindy. Thank you for
Hi, guys.
joining us this morning.
Happy Friday to you?
Yes, happy Friday. Hope you have a good weekend, even though
you
the
bummed
weather
everybody
isn't
out with the
gonna be
weather.
the
Thanks a lot
greatest,
for that,
so,
by the
yeah,
way.
I don't think this is going to be a beach weekend, that's for sure.
Then. Well, we're going to throw
Yeah.
over to Danny to see what she's got for us today. What's going on over there in the corner, Danny?
Hey Colette, thank you. So we just wanted to let everyone know that we got a tip the other day that an individual has been killing beavers. We're not too sure where. Well, we were told that it was at Topsail Island. This individual found this out when she was watching the snowbirds a few weeks ago. So we kind of did a little bit more research, and it did come to our attention about this. As far as we know, there have not been any beaver killings. But going back to an incident that happened last year with Parks Canada, there was that incident at the locks. So we were a little bit, just keeping a lookout. But we do want to let everyone know that there hasn't been any killings. But if you do hear of anything, please let us know. We're looking towards that. So that's just a little quick update. Back to the desk.
Thanks, Danny. Appreciate that. Poor little beavers. Okay, listen. The Sioux Area Hospital draws today at 11 a.m.
Yes, and it is a big number.
It is at $101,000.
Yeah.
So that draw will take place at 11 a.m. and that's insane, isn't it?
Last month was the 72,000 that was pretty high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
$100,000.
Now this is another like almost $30,000.
Oh, I can
So-
buy a lot with that. Okay, Chris, what do you got for us today?
Okay, well, first part of my interview with Gary Leith was last night. He's a public health inspector with Algoma Public Health.
Yeah.
Second part's tonight, and I asked him a question about toilets. Yesterday, Danny did a PSA about people peeing all over the place in this town, not in indoor plumbing, shall we say. So he and I have a chat about why the toilets are reopened, and here's the clip. However, I did notice that the bathroom is open, and it's very hard to socially distance in a lot of bathrooms. Can you explain why bathrooms are now allowed to be open? Because in my opinion, it makes it much easier. Like if I want to travel somewhere, when all the bathrooms were closed, I couldn't travel 6 hours away because there was no bathrooms available, but now I can. Can you explain why toilets are actually open?
So we do need our sanitation facilities to be open. People do need to access the washrooms for the aspects of hand hygiene as well as sanitation. So we understand those settings are very intimate, and based on their construction, physical distancing is probably unrealistic in the communal bathrooms. So that would be the setting that the recommendation of not being able to maintain 6 feet of social distancing, that you should be wearing a mask. Would probably apply. We do want to make sure that people do have those access to all the soap, paper towel, hot and cold running water means of hand hygiene. So we do want those businesses to provide those facilities. And respect to travel, domestic travel is somewhat frowned against at this time. However, there is no legal restrictions on it. So we do want to be considerate to where we are visiting, but we also want to make sure that our essential workers that do have to travel still have the ability to use the washroom facilities. So we do work with businesses if they have questions on how they can set things up properly. Barriers are a big thing that are being installed in some settings, specifically for washrooms. We would always assume that they are dirty. So as a user, you should always be making sure that you wash your hands and take as much of an infection control stance when you're exiting, using paper towel to open the door. Little things like that can help. But using a mask, if you are unable to maintain those 6 feet of distancing in those settings, would be advised.
And I'd like to thank Gary Leith for joining me. He's a public health inspector with Algoma Public Health. You can see the rest of that interview tonight at 7 p.m. here on TV. Okay, so let's talk numbers in Ontario. We've had a spike for 5 days where we were over 400 cases. The last 3 days have been under 300. 2 of them have been under 300. One was just the other day, it was the 383. However, we have a positivity rate that is dropping. In other words, when we test someone, how many people are testing positive? We are now seeing a positivity rate of 3.5%. At one point, that was at 6 to 7%. That's actually good. It means that we are actually testing people. They have illnesses, but it's not COVID-19. And we have now, Doug Ford was a little cheesed off at the end of last week about the testing numbers. Those numbers have popped back up. On Wednesday, we did 17,615 tests. Okay, so here's a couple interesting stats about COVID-19. More cases are female than male. For some reason, about 56% of all the cases are in females. Also, about 12.5% of all cases require hospitalizations. However, one good thing about the amount of people who have had COVID-19, 77% of the people who have tested positive for COVID-19 in Ontario have recovered. That number keeps going up, which is good because it means we're getting more control over COVID-19 in the province. These are actually promising numbers, even though we did have that spike for the 5 days where we were over 400. Also, all but 95 deaths have happened with people over the age of 65. And also, we have had no deaths of any children in the province of Ontario, which is also very good. Now, there's some other issues with children and COVID-19 that they are getting. There's an inflammatory syndrome that they're getting parallel with COVID-19 that's not showing up in adults. But yeah, and the good news is we're still under 300 outbreaks at long-term care homes. We are at 298 for that. And we will be right back after the break with more information for your morning. See you in a sec.
So today we're going to talk about how to test and change the battery in your smoke alarm. First of all, it's a front load smoke alarm. So to change the battery, you just pop open this drawer and then you remove the battery. Make sure when you're putting a new battery in, you put it in properly so that the terminals are lined up, and make sure it's in all the way. And for this one, make sure it clicks shut. Always test the smoke alarms after you install a new battery, and you can do that with this test button right here. So as soon as you push that test button and it beeps, you know that it's working properly.
And welcome back. Welcome back to the special report. We have another Facebook shout out. Thank you to Marilyn, who is a top fan of ours on Facebook.
Hey, Marilyn.
So thank you very much, Marilyn.
Glad to have you today.
And I'd like to thank my girlfriend. The beaver video that Danny used, she took herself down at Bellevue Park the other day. So thank you very much to my girlfriend, Juliana, for shooting the beaver video.
Just everybody's included, hanging in content.
It's a family affair here.
Yeah, that's right. We've got some more news for you. Okay, let's start off with some news. So a family is demanding some answers after their daughter plunged to her death from a building, a balcony. I think it was Wednesday. There she is right there. Her name is Regis Korchinski-Paquette. So she had some problems beforehand, I believe, from the way this article's written. So the police arrived. The mother and the siblings were in the hallway, along with Regis here, and something happened where an argument ensued between herself and the police officers. And then all of a sudden the mother heard help, her daughter screaming for help, and then she jumped off the balcony. So they're looking into what is going on, what happened, don't know. I guess if she walked into her apartment and everybody was in the hallway, she must have walked into the apartment with the police officer. I don't know the story. It's very vague. We will definitely stay on it today and find out what's going on there. But I mean, I couldn't imagine, downtown Toronto. I couldn't imagine, your kids calling the 24th floor. So it was quite the drop. So
Wow.
I'm not too sure what the instance is around that, but like I said, we will definitely have that for you. So New Brunswick shows the importance of caution when they're opening up provinces.
They're shutting back down.
They are shutting back down. So Teresa Tam came on and said, this is just a good example as to how you have to keep your social distancing and keep your practices and not ask people to come to the city for tourism, stuff like that.
And the person who spread that
Yeah.
didn't quarantine when they came back for 14 days. They went back to work.
Okay, so the rules are in place for a reason.
Yeah, so this is why you do the 14-day quarantine, folks. That person infected 5 other people.
Yeah, and
because
then
they
so it
didn't
grows,
quarantine.
right?
And it's a small town.
Yeah. So, exactly what we are here. So let's just remember that and keep up with what we're doing because we're doing great here as well. So Quebec is launching an advertising search of 10,000 orderlies for
Yes.
long-term care facilities. Because as you know, like we've mentioned a few times, Quebec and Ontario have had the military go in to assist workers within the health long-term care facilities. And now they're asking for some more help.
Yeah, and they've upped the pay to $49,000, which then actually makes a nurse making less money when they start than a personal support worker. So they're having some issues there with the nursing union as well, because nurses require an entire more year of education to become a practical nurse than to be a personal support worker.
Okay.
So that is a developing story there. That
It
will happen,
absolutely is,
yeah.
and we will keep on that. But we'll update you as that comes on. Okay, time to do it. Time to talk about him.
Okay,
You ready?
Donald Trump, please play the video.
You're biting at the...
This is from 2 years ago.
We're here today to defend free speech from one of the gravest dangers it has faced in American history, frankly, and you know what's going on as well as anybody. It's not good. A small handful of powerful social media monopolies controls a vast portion of all public and private communications in the United States, and we know what they are. We don't have to name them. We're going to give you a complete listing. We're going to give you a signed copy of what I'm going to be signing in a couple of minutes, and you'll see exactly what we're doing.
I apologize, that is not the correct Trump video. We're going to take a commercial and we'll be right
queue up the
back
right one.
with the correct video.
Even though we can't always meet in person, we can still listen.
Even though schools are closed, help is still available in your community.
Even though you may be worried, services and supports are still here.
In stressful times like these, families need mental health supports more than ever.
We are here to make sure you can stay connected to your community and culture.
Nous savons qu'il peut être difficile de rester à la maison. mais vous n'êtes pas seul.
And we know asking for help for yourself and others can be hard.
But there are people in your community who are ready to support you.
No matter your age, gender, sexual identity, race, or culture.
No matter the day, time, or issue.
We're here to help.
I apologize for that. We've had a few Trump videos floating around for different shows today, but here's the actual Trump video of him at a police conference 2 years ago.
It's essential that Congress fund another 10,000 ICE officers, and we're asking for that, so that we can eliminate MS-13 and root out the criminal cartels from our country. Now, we're getting them out anyway, but we'd like to get them out a lot faster. And when you see these towns, and when you see these thugs being thrown into the back of a paddy wagon, you just see them thrown in, rough. I said, please don't be too nice. Like when you guys put somebody in the car and you're protecting their head, you know, the way you put their hand over. Like, don't hit their head, and they've just killed somebody, don't hit their head. I said, you can take the hand away, okay?
And so that was Trump 2 years ago, talking about roughing up suspects before you put them in the car or you put them in the back of a paddy wagon. And then, just the other day in Minnesota, a person died from police being too rough before they put the person into the car. There's been protests, not only in Minnesota, but across the U.S. And last night, Donald Trump put a tweet out, and it said, when the looting starts, the shooting starts. And he said he would use the military to control the state of Minnesota. Okay. That's not the appropriate response, especially when you've been accused of being against the minority communities across the country, and you're telling them you're going to shoot them if they come out and protest. Now, I'm not for looting. However, I don't think the President of the United States should be saying that. And good on Twitter, by the way, for blocking that tweet.
Yeah, because it promoted gun violence, so they blocked it.
You can't retweet it. You can't like it. The only thing you can do with a blocked tweet is to retweet it with a comment, but no one can even comment under that tweet. So good on Twitter for doing that.
Awesome job.
Go ahead, speaking of entertainment.
We are actually going to cut to our hashtag In This Together SSM clip. This was from Danny. She interviewed a local author.
No, not at all. So my name is Jennifer, and I'm the author of Goose on a Roof. And here is the cover of the book. And it's illustrated by Natalia Starakova. And it's about a goose who has a very low self-esteem, and he's being bullied by the other geese on the farm. And he basically tells them that you're not strong or fast like us, and they really belittle him and make him feel no good. So throughout the book, Henry is the goose, and he wants to accomplish a goal by flying on top of the highest barn on the farm. And he does it with a little encouragement for himself. And however, once he's at the top of the barn, he is afraid to fly down. So with a little help from his farm friends,
That was Jennifer Brown with our own Danny Dupuis. Her book is available on Amazon, Chapters, and most importantly on MyAlgoma. So if you go to SueOnline.com, click on MyAlgoma, it's the furthest right tab on your right. You'll see a bunch of vendors there and things that they're selling around the community. That's how we all pitched together and was helping local businesses. So please go to MyAlgoma, because the vendors they're increasing daily over there. There's some good ones. Grand Gardens is on there, and I'm starving right now.
Yeah,
Chuck's Roadhouse is on there, lots of stuff. So please go to MyAlgoma and check it out. Okay, quickly, we have a minute left, so down to entertainment. Scott Disick, one of my favorite Kardashians, or non-Kardashians, he was dating Sophia Richie, which is Lionel Richie's daughter, or who is, not which is, and they just broke up after 3 years. Now, as sad it is to hear about a breakup, I'm kind of excited because I would love for him and Courtney to get back together. And that's my little 2 cents piece there. What do you think? What are your thoughts on that?
I have no thoughts on the Kardashians at all.
And with that, we are going to wish you a great Friday. I'm cutting you
and
off.
we'll see you at 1 p.m. with the
We'll be here at
Premier
1 p.m.
and the Medical Officer of Health.